So if we look at this cross-section, first glance tells us that R is probably our youngest layer because it's on top, and the law of superposition tells us that the top layer for sedimentary rocks is usually the youngest. And that's true. However, if we look at H, we can use the law of cross-cutting relationships to see that H cuts across all of the other layers and even intrudes into R, and because we see these contact metamorphism lines around H, those lines indicate that R was present when H formed, because R was changed by the intrusion of the heat. And so stratum H is our youngest layer. Then we can look at the law of superposition and say R was probably our next most recent layer, followed by M. I find it helpful then to start also from the bottom. We know from the law of superposition that I, B, and F probably formed with I first, and B on top of it, and then F because of the order that they're in. But we see that there is this fault here. We also see that there is an unconformity. And so the question is, which happened first, the fault or the unconformity? The reason why I know that F, B, and I formed before either one of them is that they're both affected by it. So layer F, or stratum F, has some erosion at the top of it, so we know that this erosion, this unconformity, happened after F was laid down. So the question becomes, did the erosion happen first, or did the faulting happen first? Our clue lies in the fact that this downward motion, that slip that occurred at the fault, affected our unconformity too. The unconformity started up here, and it slipped down with layer F when the faulting happened. So the erosion that caused the unconformity occurred before the fault. So the oldest event was that stratum I was created, then B, then F, and then an erosion event, and then some faulting, and then some deposition that created M, and then more deposition that created layer R, and finally we have this igneous intrusion that made H the youngest layer.